Hello, I'm Murph. I'm currently a 6-digit, nearing 5-digit, and I noticed an influx of players returning or just giving OSU Standard a try, so I figured, hey, why not give my personal experience on how I got here and what I could offer to players like me who want to get better, but are just having trouble applying cliche advice thrown around like the infamous play more or just play consistently. This guide will focus primarily on OSU Laser as the client, but many of these principles will apply to stable as well. However, what this video will not cover is everything listed here, as I personally feel that they have already been exhaustively reported on and do not offer anything new to the table. This is currently a pitfall I see a lot of 6 digits fall into, myself included. Skill set domination is nothing new, but it is extremely common in a lot of single-player rhythm games. The culture of OSU and rhythm games in general actually may encourage this behavior, so you may not even realize it. Players tend to grind specific maps early on that give PP in order to rank up. Stream maps are not very common in this range of difficulty, and with the introduction of combo scaling removal, or CSR, aim maps end up being the most prevalent source of PP by a long shot. This is normally not an issue, and you will still gain skill playing this way, if global ranking is the only thing you are using to quantify your skill. Now, ranked play does not really need an introduction, but I want to express how valuable this will become for assessing weakness. Skill set domination is fine when your entire map pool is all of the same skill set, but an issue arises when you're in a ranked match and the AR 7.5 117 BPM map shows up and all of a sudden you just lost a match you were up 5-2 in. Outside of ranked play, however, I'll make you identify your weaknesses. Typically, it's pretty easy to tell when you're bad at something, but it's not always obvious why. OSU maps have a lot of metrics that contribute to the general feel of the map. Putting rhythm and circle placement aside, focusing purely on mechanics, you end up with 3 major ones: beats per minute, approach rate, and overall difficulty. Next time you notice any physical or mental incapabilities when trying to set a score, take a look at these attributes according to this hierarchy: BPM, AR, OD, then CS. CS can be very demanding, but it is usually very easy to tell when CS is the issue. Once you have identified your faults, try to focus on maps with respect to your weaknesses. Ironing out flaws in one thing may be the key to breaking a mental barrier in another. The difficulty adjust mod on Laser is especially helpful, and you may use this on maps you are very comfortable with to push your limits in a more casual way. Essentially, play with intention if your goal is to improve as a player. Otherwise, just stick to what is fun, and you will notice that skill will come naturally as time progresses. It is just up to you if you would like to expedite it or not. This is something I see a lot of. OSU is a mechanics-based game, and your own physical capabilities might either help you significantly or hinder you predominantly. I bring this up because this may easily be the deciding factor between whether another player's technique works for you or not. Technique styles should be adapted, not assimilated. It is more important to look at the mechanics of a technique rather than the physical application when deciding that technique is right for you. I do get the feeling of not wanting to improve the wrong way or feel the need to play how the top players are playing because they must be playing the correct way. However, there's a reason why these players can't ever give you the best tapping technique or the best tablet area or DPI or sensitivity. I call this the puberty stage of the game. You keep trying things out, you don't know what you should be doing, but I'm here to say it's gonna be okay. What hurts you the most is constant change. Consistently trying new techniques from better players who have had time to refine said techniques will keep you bound to fruitless puppetry. This is not saying that universal advice or techniques do not exist, but this is saying that players should be willing to stick with their own preferences and what feels good for some time before branching out. If playing on mouse feels awesome for you, don't immediately come to the conclusion that you need to buy a tablet purely off of comparison. Doing this not only limits creativity and playstyles, but also limits groundbreaking discoveries and techniques yet to be uncovered. In fact, I myself am a good example. For the longest time, I'm so bad at F-seeing anything, I sometimes get little twitches of movement in my arm, and when playing with a smaller area, those twitches would really be disruptive. I began to play full area despite my tablet being pretty massive, and I found the switches now being mostly too insignificant to break my control, leading to more confident playing. I noticed this, yet I still went back to playing with a smaller area. Why? Because I was worse at the game, and at first I was. I couldn't hit 5-star jumps anymore, couldn't set any scores I was proud of, and it was just straining on my right arm. It frustrated me, so I quit playing full area shortly after. Eventually I came back and just stuck with it, and now I'm not only better than I was in a smaller area, but much more consistent too. All of this is just to say, don't just find what works for you, but stick with it for a little bit. You may end up surprising yourself. This is a short section that may not be applicable to everyone, but I'd still like to include it as this is a personal technique I have used many times before. Feeling rusty is a universal experience for many players. Maybe you've lost interest in the game, or have just gotten too busy to play actively. Unfortunately, when you decide now is the time to return, momentum has been completely shot, and it just feels like you'll never be as good as you were a while ago. This sensation is a silent killer of many players. I myself have gone through the derusting process many times before. Something that has always helped me is getting back into the game with a new skill. This could be playing exclusively with Hidden as a non-hidden player, or as simple as playing DT as someone who normally avoids it. Basically, just things that you would normally struggle with regardless. Learning these skills while you're washed can help eliminate the mental barrier of playing bad in the first place. This ends up making the derusting process feel much more natural and can even provide you with a more proficient return rather than just brute forcing your way through it. Now let's talk about you. I want you to be honest with me. Do you find yourself falling into bad habits chasing after a goal? Maybe that goal is, I need a 200 PP score now. And then you boot up C-Type and then genuinely have PSC. Yes. Fuck. No, just me. Okay. Well, the point of this section is to bring awareness to the notion of harmful goal setting. This can be a variety of things, but the underlying principle is as follows. Any goal that facilitates a disregard for previously established or developing good habits in favor of said goal. This is applicable to most things in life, but we're talking about OSU here. Let me give this hypothetical example. I really need to hit 5-digit now, or else my entire family will die and I'll never be loved. I've been practicing my speech, streaming, finger control, and even reading ability a lot recently, but I know these maps are not going to be what gets me to 5-digit quickly. I'm extremely skillset dominant in aim after all, so all I do is farm aim maps. I find myself retry spamming, getting frustrated, and overall just playing in a very hostile environment. Miraculously, even if I were to have achieved this goal, I would end up as a worse player overall from my peers in similar ranks due to this explicit negligence. Unless, of course, they too needed to hit 5-digit now or else their entire family will die and they'll never be loved. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is just not only be responsible, but be realistic with your framing. I want to reach 5-digit is a lighthearted and long-term goal, versus I want to reach 5-digit now. This adds a sense of urgency, potentially making a player more subconsciously reckless even though their initial intentions may be harmless. Destructive behaviors like this are ultimately what leads to burnout, eventually harboring resentment for the game, or anything for that matter. If you made it this far, firstly, thank you. This is my first time making content and I hope to maybe make more. Secondly, I'd like to make it clear that I am no way an expert in OSUology. After all, I am just a 6-digit. There's like a million of these guys. I just felt it would be a fun idea to share some tips and guidance that I developed along the way and felt were especially helpful for me as a returning player. I hope anything I said here has been helpful, and if there's a demand for my style of explaining things, I may make a video going over the rudimentary concepts I chose to leave at the beginning. Also, I actually plan on streaming pretty soon, so if you'd like to watch me play, using myself as the clinical trial of my own advice, I'd love to see you there. No! The slider? What do you mean? Okay.